What is up, everyone? Welcome to the show if you're new. Thanks for coming back if you're not. In my channel, I specifically focus on innovative disruption, and I am continually uncovering and searching for new companies that have the potential to transform the status quo. We have seen so many revolutionary products disrupt entire industries over the years. Apple for the cell phone, Beyond Meat for plant-based meat alternatives, Netflix for video services, and Amazon for e-commerce and logistics. Now, what all these companies did so exceptionally well was fill the gap in what consumers were missing, didn't have access to, but would benefit from. By doing this, they would ultimately transform and innovatively disrupt entire sectors. This left early investors of these companies generating behemoth returns on investments and millions of dollars. The company of today's episode is attempting on carving out a pre-existing market, one that has had few outsiders let in and is in need of a drastic change and modernization. The company's stock has been booming, up a massive 34% in the past month alone, and almost 15% in just the past 5 days. We're going to be diving into what's driving the surge, where they're headed, and how they're revolutionizing an entire sector. This one's going to be a fun one. Before we get to it today, make sure to always come to your own conclusions and formulate your own decisions. Small cap stocks, although potentially generating more reward, tend to come with increased risk, so gain as much research as possible and do your due diligence. Disclaimer, this is a sponsored video, and as always, this video should be used for entertainment purposes only. Alright, ladies and gents, let's dive right in. Okay, so the company of today's episode is called TAAT Global Alternatives Incorporated, based in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, and Las Vegas, Nevada. They are trading on the CSE under ticker symbol TAAT and on the OTC markets under ticker symbol TOBAF. They are also looking to soon be listed on the NASDAQ, which would be massive for the company and the stock. More on this shortly. Alright, so who is TAAT and what exactly do they do? For centuries, people all across the world have consumed tobacco. Around a whopping 1.3 billion people worldwide use tobacco. However, more and more research has been pouring in to the significant deleterious effects and health consequences of consumption. Now, what's more is many of these consumers want to quit. This is where TAAT is stepping in with its beyond tobacco-based material. TAAT is offering something that doesn't exist elsewhere currently, a unique and revolutionary alternative to tobacco with zero nicotine and zero tobacco. This is fundamentally changing the way consumers even think about something they thought couldn't be changed: cigarettes. This, in much the same way Beyond Meat has changed the way consumers think about what meat can be. They are closely mimicking a product without sacrificing the core factors that brought the consumer in the first place. We are seeing so many of these innovative disruptors pop up, carving out market share in recent years, and I think this will only increase in prevalency. The quantity of smokers attempting to quit is staggering. It's estimated by some accounts that 70% of all smokers are actively trying to quit or are open to an alternative. That is 27.3 million consumers in the US alone. The consumer is rapidly changing, becoming increasingly health educated and seeking to improve their overall health and wellness. This puts TAAT into a perfect position. Now, much of this change within the industry is coming from the top down. TAAT was formed from ex-executives from some of the biggest tobacco companies in the world, executives who see an enormous opportunity in an $814 billion market. The tobacco industry is poised to be shook up. TAAT recently added big tobacco players to its team. Chief Executive Officer Seti Coscarella was the former lead strategist for Philip Morris International. This is one of the top big tobacco players. They have also recently added Chief Revenue Officer Tim Corkum, former international commercialization executive for Philip Morris International. These are huge names in the tobacco industry with a wealth of knowledge and experience, now turning their aim at their former industry. We'll get more into the robust management team shortly. Now, I know what you may be thinking. There already exists an alternative, e-cigarettes and vaping. However, analysts are not seeing the adoption of this technology, with less than only 5% of total US nicotine consumption through e-cigarettes and vaping, according to Nielsen data. There are many possible reasons for this. E-cigarettes and vaping may only perpetuate nicotine addiction and use a delivery method that consumers don't enjoy. Now, TAAT is offering less harmful alternatives to smoking, very closely mimicking actual cigarettes. I think this places them in an extremely unique position as there aren't any other products like this on the market currently. We are seeing huge names get behind this company as they build momentum. We recently just saw Floyd Mayweather and his crew endorse TAAT at a major championship fight and posting on his Instagram, drawing in millions of viewers. TAAT, for all intents and purposes, is growing at an incredible rate, and it's not going unnoticed. Although just newly recently formed, they are already in more than 500 stores in multiple US states, and through e-commerce means in 37 states. Their products closely mimic cigarettes without many of the addictive and harmful substances, and at a fraction of the cost. There is a lot to like here from an investor point of view. We have seen other alternatives skyrocket in valuation and then bought out, much the same way Juul shot into popularity and was bought out by Altria for $38 billion. A similar circumstance could happen to TAAT. This could potentially lead to spikes in share prices and shareholder value. TAAT is generating much interest from all corners of the market in the past year, and I think TAAT CEO Seti Coscarella summarizes this perfectly. And I quote, "It would be an understatement to say the past year has been positively exhilarating," unquote. In October 2020, they secured 6.75 million Canadian from a group of investors led by Debbie Chang, co-founder of the infamous Horizon Ventures. This sparked interest from outside analysts and investors. They then voluntarily exercised their warrants for gross proceeds of $10 million in December. TAAT's menthol brand went on to be their first variety to completely sell out by Ohio tobacco retailers, 60% with retailers who carry TAAT for 3 weeks or more. In July, they were named Best New Product at the first B2B convention, and in August, 68 new initial purchase orders were closed. One thing is clear here, and that is they are growing and growing at an incredible rate. It really is exciting to see the progress they are making and the adoption of their technology across the board. Okay, moving into their finances. Their stock has been surging in the past few weeks. In less than 1 month, shares are trading up more than 44% and a staggering 14.60% in just the past week of trading alone. It's clear investors and analysts are catching on to just how massive this company could be. They have a very decent market cap of $330.668 million, making them small cap, and have a large 52-week delta with a low of only 62 cents and surging all the way to 474. So lots of potential here. Their volume of recent has been moving well past their average volume, indicating increased movement and interest as of late. They have 14.27 million in total cash, and something I always like to see, an incredibly solid current ratio of 13.40, indicating far more assets relative to liabilities. They have 96.41 million shares outstanding, so when good news is announced, shares will typically surge. However, the same should be noted of the opposite. We see that 10.63% of shares are held by insiders, which shows to me that the management team really does believe in the product and its future success. Now, in the trailing 12 months, the company has just broken the $1 million mark in revenue, having just hit the market in their infancy. These are all good signs. As I previously mentioned, they have a very robust management team. Seti Coscarella is the company's CEO. He has a wealth of knowledge across a variety of disciplines to TAAT. He has been involved in investment banking, private equity, and entrepreneurship, and has experience within big tobacco. This is extremely important to me. Tim Corkin is the Chief Revenue Officer. He had an over 21-year tenure at Philip Morris International and holding other senior positions in business development, sales strategy, corporate affairs, a ton of knowledge here. Joe Deegan is the founder and research and development. He has experience within tobacco alternatives, having founded a vape liquid maker, J Juice, in 2012, being later acquired for more than $800,000 in 2017. And the team is stacked with advisors. Michael Saxton with over 20 years experience. Kit Dietz named Dean of the Industry in 2017, having served on the board of directors of Newport cigarette maker. And Dr. Cindy Orser, who holds more than 20 patents and has 65 peer-reviewed publications with over 2,000 citations. I'm really liking what I'm seeing here, a ton of knowledge and expertise. I really do believe the tobacco industry needs to be disrupted and needs to be disrupted soon. I think TAAT could be the answer to this. There is so much to like here from an investor standpoint, and I will be keeping a very close eye on them as they continue to develop, make moves on the markets, and continually carve away from big tobacco. Stay tuned for more. This one could be huge. Make sure you subscribe. I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Happy trading. Cheers.